Chernobylite is a science fiction survival horror RPG developed by Polish studio The Farm 51 and published by All In Games. It's set in a hyper-realistic 3D scan recreation of the Chernobyl exclusion zone. The player takes the role of Igor, a physicist and former worker at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant who returns years after disaster to search for his fiancée, Tatiana. Dealing with supernatural threats, military forces, resource scarcities, and the psychological burden of obsession. The game mixes exploration, survival mechanics, crafting, base building, choice-driven narrative, non-linear mission structure, stealth, some combat, and supernatural sci-fi horror elements. It appeals lies largely in its atmosphere, the setting, the blending of real-world history and horror speculation, and its visual fidelity. But like many ambitious titles, it doesn't escape trade-offs, flaws, and divided reception. The ideal for Chernobylite grew out of the Farm 51's earlier work with photogrammetry. The Chernobyl VR project helped them build both technical know-how, 3D scanning, recreating decaying spaces, and an emotional historical connection to the exclusion zone. These earlier experiences laid crucial groundwork. They launched a Kickstarter campaign in 2019 to help fund scanning more locations. Among other development costs, the target was 100,000 USD. They raised around 206,000 from about 3,300 backers. Throughout development, the Farm 51 committed to realistic environmental design, scanning real locations. They traveled to the exclusion zone to gather references, interview people, scan buildings, collect artifacts of architecture, decay, vegetation. The game starts out with Igor heading towards the Chernobyl power plant with his hired help, Olivier and Anton, to find clues about his missing wife. We then get a flashback of when the power plant had its meltdown. Igor tries sneaking his way into the compound only to instantly get caught and lies his way out of it. We meet back up with the squad and take the safer sewer tunnel. Once inside, we come to the control room where we are supposed to push the infamous button, but Tatiana's voice in our head tells us not to. Eventually, we make it to this massive green crystal structure that's known as Chernobylite. Igor takes a chunk and shoves it into his DeWalt power drill and turns it into a portal gun. Igor shows Olivier a picture of his wife that went missing 30 years ago, then suddenly gets shot in the arm. Igor looks and sees this menacing dark stalker just teleporting towards them. He shoots Anton without even the respect to look at him. Igor finally grabs Olivier and heads into his portal. While in the portal, we can see this bizarre world, not quite knowing what to think of it. We go through another portal and end up back in the woods. Igor makes his way back to their hideout where Olivier is waiting. While inside, we clean up all the junk and trash for materials. We get a little taste of the building mechanic. It adds to the core gameplay in a way Igor has to manage comfort, power, air quality, radiation, and sleeping comforts. After cleaning up and building what we can, we head to basically the world map, where we choose Igor's and his comrades' missions. The first mission is basically a tutorial to get you used to the zone, and look how brutal this silent takedown is. I think you got him. Igor finally makes it to the crate full of supplies, and we TP back to the base. After making it back, we have a few basic materials to build with. Placing objects is kind of like Rust, so it works. Igor throws down some storage chests and heads to sleep to end the day. When Igor wakes up, he gets a radio call from Terracon wanting help. He says he has information about Tatiana. Igor agrees to help. When Igor finally makes it to where he is supposed to meet Terracon, he finds Sashko waiting for him. He says Terracon hired him to test us, and the first test is whether or not we blow up the Dougal radar system or keep it running to help our cause. Igor blows it up. After making it back to the base, we give Olivier a med kit for getting hurt and get another call on the radio from Mikhail wanting help to put some pressure on the NAR. While heading towards Mikhail, we run into a trader being held up. We dispatch the opposition with some nice body destruction. There are multiple traders selling or trading different items on different maps, always good to check in. Eventually, we made it to where Mikhail wanted us and hack into their database to cause havoc. When Igor makes it back to the base, he has to assign food rations every mission. You have to keep your comrades happy, healthy, and comfortable, basically like a city builder, or you get bad effects for ignoring them. After Igor hits the sack, he gets another call from Mikhail, who apparently blew himself up. Igor agrees to help, and this is a good point to talk about the zone. In every zone piece you go into can have different weather effects, different times of day. It's a nice change up that adds a lot of gameplay. Eventually we make it to Mikhail, who is tripping balls asking for his mama's crystals. Igor has to protect him from these strange teleporting creatures. After saving him, we invite him to join our team and send him to the base. When Igor gets back to the base, Olivier tells him about a lead on some documents that might be useful to us. After clearing out the goons and cooking some yum-yums, we finally find it. Unfortunately, Terracon has previously booby-trapped the basement. We take the trap apart and take the documents. Igor can either rearm the trap to take out NAR or leave it. He just leaves it and heads back to base. Olivier tells us of a traitor of the NAR. When we find him, he turns out to just be a useless thief. We let him go. While back at the base, we have collected enough clues to go into the VR world to get a better understanding of them, while in this one we learned that Boris, our friend from before the Chernobyl explosion, was macking on our wife trying to steal her, but when she refused, he lied to the KGB about her, getting her detained, and that's all Igor learns for now. Sashko radios us for a real test. Eventually, when we find him in the zone, he wants us to Assassin's Creed dive out the window. Igor agrees and flops around like a marionette while he falls. Sashko jumps down with perfect form, I might add, and we get him to join our team. Terracon calls us at the base telling us he got NAR uniforms and data from the NAR. We can either destroy it or try to download it. Igor destroys it. Back at the base, Mikhail wants us to find his friend. After selecting the mission, the camera pans to Chernobyl, where we see it explode, killing everyone. And this is where we get introduced with a pretty cool mechanic where if we die, we can go back and change whatever decisions we made, initially changing the outside world. When Igor finally gets to Mikhail's friend, we help him out with the medkit, and he tells us where to find more documents. Back at the base, Terracon calls, freaking out. Igor rushes to his aid after following a trail of rats. We find him digging his own grave. We take out the guards and ask him to join our team, and Igor portals him to the base. While at the base, Olga radios in asking for some help. When Igor arrives at her village, she asks to find missing supplies and her husband. After locating her husband and his supplies, we find out he is the useless guy we thought was the NAR traitor. We release him and head back to our village. When we get close to the village, the useless guy wants Igor to give him the supplies so he can drug the leader, so he can run the camp. Igor refuses and heads in after completing the mission. We ask Olga to join our team and teleport her to the base. While at the base, Igor overhears NAR soldiers talking about his old comrade who got him and his wife a job at the power plant. Igor heads to him to find out what happened. When we find Semenov, he says he was forced to help the NAR and Igor doesn't know to trust him or not. He tells us where some KGB documents are, and Igor goes and gets them. With another clue, we have enough to go back to the VR world, where we find out that when Tatiana was nabbed by the KGB, she was somehow pregnant, even though she was supposed to be infertile. Igor is rocked to his core about this revelation. We get a sad glimpse of Tatiana and the baby in a cell. The next day, Olga tells Igor that the scouts at her camp found an NAR prison in the forest, in an old repurposed bunker. Igor leaves to investigate. Once inside the prison, Igor finds a kid who turns out to be a nephew of a very powerful NAR general. We let the kid out and tell him to go to Olga's village to be safe. The next day, Mikhail tells us of a super important person we have to go find. Once Igor finally arrives, he finds out it's an anti-air missile system, and Igor has a choice to shoot down an NAR helicopter or not to, because anybody could be on it, not just soldiers. Igor shoots it down. While investigating the crash site, we find out it's Semenov's helicopter. We give him a medkit and head back to base. At HQ, we get a little backstory on why Sashko is in the zone. He apparently is looking for his brother. He disappeared after their parents died, and he has a lead that he is in the zone. Igor agrees to help him find some information. While looking for leads, Igor runs into some scientists that work for the NAR. After threatening them, they finally spill the beans that the monsters that plague the zone are their experiments, that they are directly injected with Chernobylite and other insane experiments on the locals of Chernobyl. Eventually, Igor finds a convoy with information about Sashko's brother. Apparently, they captured him and put him to death. Sashko is devastated by this and wants revenge, so Igor sets up a trap at the convoy with explosives. While Igor waits to detonate it, Mikhail's friend that we helped before gets in the way. Igor has a choice to still blow it up or not to save Mikhail's friend. Igor blows it up. Back at the base, Semenov sends a pre-recorded message saying he has more information involving Tatiana and to meet him on the roof. But before Igor can do that, the group agrees on taking out a high-standing NAR general about to give a speech. Igor climbs to a nearby high-rise building and has the choice to snipe him or sneak in and poison him to try to interrogate him. Igor snipes him. At HQ, Olga tells us of a white powder that acts like a deterrent to keep the zone's creatures at bay and asks Igor to check it out. While out in the zone, Igor runs into another one of Terracon's bases, and Igor can get more clues about Tatiana, and with that, Igor gets enough clues to go back into the VR world. This time in the VR world, we learned that NAR also did experiments on Tatiana because for some reason she bonded with it. Igor also learns that Boris decided to experiment on himself too, and that's how he became the Black Stalker. While back in the zone looking for the white powder, Igor finds Olga's village destroyed. Her husband attempted to poison the leader but accidentally poisoned the entire village, causing them to be overrun by NAR. Her husband wanders off and eventually ends himself. Near her husband, Igor finally finds the white powder. He tests it and finds out that these certain chemicals in a mass grave keep it away because the Chernobylite is like a living organism, and it stays away from certain chemicals like lye that keep it from growing or sending information. Igor then heads to the rooftop Semenov wanted to meet at, but only it's a trap. Who would have guessed? Igor escapes after losing the helicopter. After that incident, we finally find Semenov, who said he was forced to do it. Not that Igor believes him, but he found more useful information about Tatiana. Back at the base, Igor has the final VR world experience, where he learns that NAR wants to use Tatiana as a portal to the Chernobylite world. With everything settled and prepared, Igor gathers his team for the final mission. I'm going to let main cutscenes play out so you can get a good recap.
You all know it's not going to be easy. We tried before, and not everyone made it. But this time we're smarter and better prepared. I know we can do this. We have to do this. It's the only way we can find Tatiana and end NAR.
Mousy, you're talking about striking at the heart of the Rat King. But have you learned everything possible about his plans?
I have evidence that NAR was conducting Chernobylite experiments back in the 90s. Tatiana and her baby were two of their subjects. With the rate at which their technology is progressing, soon, nothing will be able to stop them. We must act now.
What about that black mask-wearing motherfucker? Have you identified him?
His name is Boris Glukov. He, Tatiana, and I were close friends until he betrayed us. He helped the KGB gather evidence against Tatiana, then continued to work for NAR after my accident. He experimented on himself with Chernobylite and ended up with great power. He's strong, one of the strongest, but we can beat him. Together.
Do you know what NAR is actually doing at the power plant? Why is it so important? And what does it have to do with Tatiana?
NAR wants to create a permanent wormhole to the Chernobylite world and get to its source. Tatiana's abilities are needed to support the space-time bridge. It's hard to know what happens if they succeed. But what they're doing is unbelievably risky. They could unleash something horrific on this world, or become unstoppable themselves. But we're never going to know the outcome. Because we're going to stop them.
I like the pep talk, Professor. I think you even gave me a bit of a job. But do we have the right tools for the job?
Yes, we do. We've got everything we need to infiltrate the power plant. This is much bigger than anything any of us has done before. If you want to back out, this is your chance.
One organization holding this much power is against everything I believe in. And besides, this is personal for me. Count me in.
You know how I feel. The Rat King must be stopped at all costs, Mousy. I'm in.
I started out doing this for a paycheck. But I'm going to end it for my brother in arms. For Anton. Let's do this.
Whatever it takes to protect my people and drive NAR out, I'm on board.
You think I'm gonna back out now and miss the best part? Fuck no. I'm with you, Igor.
I appreciate your trust. We can't count on the element of surprise, but we know enough about NAR's vulnerabilities to make this work. Time and again, NAR has shown they would rather capture than kill me. We can use this to our advantage. We'll dress somebody up as an NAR officer, escorting a prisoner. Me.
With the team's roles picked, we head out to the power plant. To get inside, we act like a prisoner and lie to the guards. After that, we use Terracon to hack some biometric scanners. Once getting inside the plant, the team goes through decrepit hallways and tunnels. Terracon has to cut the power because some tunnels are flooded with electrical currents in them.
Igor, my love. My child.
It's been so very long. But it's finally you. It has to be you.
You know it in your heart, my love. I've been calling out to you for all these years, and you answered.
But how?
You shouldn't be here. It's a mistake. You'll only bring great misery on us all. My poor little boy. All of us together, finally. Release me, my love. Free me.
What did you call me? I don't understand. What can I do?
There's nothing you can do. You have to end this. Both of us. We're a mistake. An abomination. Close the portal. Destroy the connection.
What connection?
The connection is the strongest force in the universe. It cannot be destroyed. It has to be completed. It is our destiny. Go to the reactor. Find it, my love. It is waiting for you.
Find what?
No more waiting. Please, can't you just let me die? I can't take any more.
Tanya?
Go. Die. Fade. Portal.
Tatiana, are you still there?
Boris, help. Die. Igor.
I don't understand. Oh, fuck.
Reactor. Chernobylite.
Well, what do I do? Oh, fuck, I need to figure this out.
Hi, Igor. Happy to see me.
Olivier, what are you doing?
Do you really need to ask? Did you think I was an idiot right from the beginning?
Put the gun down. Whatever it is, we can work it out.
You are such an asshole. I've been helping you all this time. I made sacrifices. I lost my best friend just to help you find this dear old lady of yours.
Olivier, please.
Not once, not fucking once did you offer to help me. It was always about you. Semenov was right after all, every word.
Semenov? What's he got to do with... Wait.
Yes, I was working for Semenov. He hired me to keep tabs on you. It went pretty well until your black masked buddy went off-piste and killed Anton.
But Semenov? Why would you work for that lunatic? What could he possibly offer?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe a chance to change what cannot be changed? To go back in time and save my squad?
But that's crazy.
Crazy, sure. Is it any crazier than going for an interdimensional walk in a tunnel through space-time?
I'm not saying it's impossible, but...
But helping me was never on your agenda, was it? I should have seen it sooner. Besides, you're not the only one experiencing strange fucking things, you know. I keep having these dreams where I die. I wake up and I live again. I see our friends being killed because of your screw-ups. Then it's a new day and everything's normal again. It's motherfucking Groundhog Day in hell. What do you have to say to that?
I don't know what to tell you. You're right. I just never thought anyone else would see it. I thought it was only me.
Sure. Semenov isn't the one with the Messiah complex.
We talk Olivier out of his hissy fit, then head towards Black Stalker.
Took your time, Igor.
Cut the crap. It's time you gave me some answers.
Yes, we'll get to that. But since this is our last meeting, I want to ask you a question first.
Fine. Just make it quick.
What do you really hope to achieve, Igor?
Isn't that obvious? I want to save Tatiana.
You may find this surprising, but our goals are actually aligned.
How's that?
We were both going after the same thing, but this whole time we've been chasing someone else's agenda without knowing it. Chernobylite's agenda.
Come on, man. I've come too far to be fed a line of bullshit.
Let's start from the beginning. Do you know who I am?
You're a future version of me, and you keep coming back to stop me from making a mistake.
That's partially correct, but not in the way you think. The more important question, the question you somehow failed to ask yourself all this time is, who are you? Because you're not Professor Igor Kiminyuk. You never were. I am Igor Kiminyuk. I only changed my name to protect you and your mother.
Protect me? How? By trying to kill me at every turn?
If I wanted to kill you, I would have done it the first time we met at the power plant.
Will you quit talking in fucking riddles?
The truth is hard to swallow, I know. It was hard for me, too. You are me. Tatiana isn't your fiancée. She's mine. Everything you know about her, everything you remember, none of it is yours. You're living someone else's life. My life. You are my clone, sort of. You got my body, my brain, my skills, and most importantly, my memories from before the Chernobyl disaster.
What are you saying? How is that even possible?
Tatiana was sterile. That was our personal tragedy. But when Semenov imprisoned her after the Duga fiasco, she fell pregnant. At first, I thought Boris was the father, and I was angry with her. But that was another of Semenov's lies. He needed me to stay on the project and study Chernobylite, so he injected Tanya with the nano solution. What happened next was, I don't know what to call it, an immaculate conception. She gave birth to a boy, you. You grew much more quickly than other kids, but your mind didn't seem to follow. It was different somehow. The Chernobylite no doubt affected you in unpredictable ways. I never really considered you my son. You scared the shit out of me. I didn't know what to do with you. But it was obvious that Semenov would incorporate you into his experiments. Or maybe cut you open and rummage around inside. Until one night, Tanya, your mother, communicated with me telepathically, even though her body was in a coma. She pleaded with me to release you into the woods, and that's what I did.
You're saying Tatiana's child, who you released in the woods in 1990? But that's impossible. Impossible! I don't remember any of this.
Of course you don't. You looked like a teenager, but had the mind of a small child. I remember giving you a sweater that Tatiana knitted for me. The night was so cold. It had my name on it.
The sweater? I had it in the camp. I was imprisoned and...
Yes, it could have been a trigger. Your mind somehow began to rebuild itself. Why in my image? I can only guess. Perhaps you were constructed from Tatiana's desires, from her expectations of a child. Funny, how I called it pseudoscience. I suspect the process was somehow facilitated by the Chernobylite.
But she's been calling me this whole time. She wanted me here.
I'm afraid you were bamboozled, my poor boy. We all were. It wasn't Tanya who called you here, but it.
Chernobylite? But the images, the voices...
They felt so real, I know. Your mother was your biggest weakness, and the entity exploited that. It wanted you here. It has plans for you, you see, and I cannot allow it to succeed.
Someone sent me a photo of Tatiana and the piece of Chernobylite. Those weren't hallucinations. They were real. I couldn't have constructed my portal gun without them.
Oh, that. It was that bastard Semenov, of course. He wanted to bring you here as well. He never got over it when you vanished. Not that it matters now. I really hoped you would stay away. But it's too late now. I can't allow you to interact with the entity in any way. Only one of us is leaving this room alive.
Wait, can't we talk it over?
We just did. Goodbye, son. Igor. I wish there was another way.
It's over, my son. Close the portal. Cut the connection. Deny this thing away into our world. Do it now!
Son, please. It will kill her. It will kill the love of my life. Of our life. Please, there's another way.
Just let me go. I've suffered long enough.
You can do this, son. You can be the man I could not. Be the better version of me. Go through the portal and face this thing. Undo the harm we both caused Tanya.
No, do not do this. Kill me. Just kill me, please. Finish it.
It's time to end this once and for all. If anyone can hear me, run as far from here as you can. Everyone, run like hell.
Chernobylite is a reflection of how video games can blend history, tragedy, and speculative fiction to tell stories that are simultaneously escapist and reflective. The disaster at Chernobyl is real, painful, and ongoing. In its consequences, Chernobylite doesn't pretend otherwise, but uses that setting to explore grief, obsession, guilt, hope, through the fictional lens of Igor's journey. It's not just about mutants or radiation, but also about what peoples leave behind and what people survive with. It shows how authenticity in setting and environment detail can be a powerful draw. The effort to scan real-life locations, interview survivors, gather references, etc. gives a texture to the game that players respond to in a way that generic horror settings often can't match. There's value in grounding speculative horror in real places, especially places already weighted with history. It also illustrates the trade-offs in game design, balancing immersion, performance, scope, narrative ambition, and player agency. Chernobylite is an ambitious and largely successful attempt to blend survival horror and an RPG storytelling in a setting that is both beautiful and dreadful. It's not perfect, some rough edges remain, and some of more speculative or supernatural stuff may not land for everyone, but the parts that work do so in a memorable way. For players who value atmosphere, exploration, narrative weight, and a strong sense of place, Chernobylite is a well worth experiencing. It may not surpass genre masters in all respects, but it earns its place in a modern horror survival as something distinct, thoughtful, and evocative.